Calaroga Shark Media. Hello and welcome to Romance Weekly. This episode is titled Royal Runaround.
In the heart of New York City, amidst the never-ending cacophony of honking horns and bustling crowds, a scene straight out of a fairy tale unfolded in the most unlikely of settings. Prince Alexander and Princess Isabella, heirs to a distant European throne, found themselves entangled in a high-speed car chase that was anything but regal. Alexander, son of royalty, with his calm demeanor and steadfast resolve, had always navigated the responsibilities of royalty with grace. Isabella, a former actress on the other hand, was known for her fiery spirit and sharp tongue, qualities that both enchanted and challenged Alexander. Together, they were the perfect blend of poise and passion. Yet the chaotic streets of New York tested their limits in ways they never imagined. As the luxury sedan zigzagged through New York's concrete canyons, Isabella's patience frayed at the edges, her fear morphing into fiery indignation. The paparazzi, relentless in their pursuit, seemed to multiply at every turn, their cameras flashing like lightning in a storm. "Why can't you do something about this? You're a prince, for heaven's sake!" Isabella's voice reached a fever pitch, her frustration boiling over. Alexander, navigating his own whirlwind of emotions, felt cornered, the expectations of his title clashing with the reality of their situation. "Isabella, I'm trying, but what do you expect me to do?" "I can't just wave a magic wand and make it all go away," he responded, the strain evident in his voice. The absurdity of the situation began to unravel the fabric of their usual decorum, leading to an exchange more befitting a farcical play than royal discourse. He snapped, "Well, maybe you should try acting your way out of this." She was in no mood and clapped back. "Isn't this what you princes are good for, parading around, pretending to be the heroes of the day?" Her words sharp as daggers. Alexander, stung by her sarcasm yet driven to the brink of his patience, snapped back. "Oh, brilliant idea, Isabella. Why don't I just roll down the window and announce to the paparazzi, 'Hear ye, kind sirs. Would you mind terribly not chasing us today?' I'm sure they'll be ever so understanding." Isabella, not one to back down, launched another volley, her anger clouding her judgment. "Well, it's not like your father is doing much better. What is he, the king of standing around? Maybe he can give them a royal wave. That ought to do it." Alexander, despite the heat of the moment, couldn't help but let out an incredulous laugh. "Yes, because the king waving at the paparazzi is the solution we've been desperately searching for. Why didn't I think of that? Perhaps we can throw in a knighthood or two for good measure." Embracing the ludicrous turn their argument had taken, Alexander decided to lean into the absurdity with a flourish only a true royal could muster. With a mischievous glint rivaling the flash of the paparazzi's cameras, he rolled down the window of their speeding sedan, much to Isabella's astonishment. As they slowed momentarily in traffic, Alexander stuck his head out the window, addressing the nearest photographers with a dramatic flair that would have made the court jesters of old proud. "By the power vested in me as prince, I hereby knight thee, noble pursuers of the photographic arts," he declared, his voice booming with mock solemnity. He gestured grandly towards the bewildered paparazzi, who momentarily ceased their snapping to stare at the prince in confusion. "Rise, Sir Paparazzo, defenders of the tabloid realm. May your lenses always capture the truth, and may your flash never falter." Alexander continued, barely containing his laughter as he knighted the air with an imaginary sword. Isabella, watching the scene unfold, couldn't hold back her laughter. The sight of Alexander taking their joke to such extravagant lengths, and the utterly baffled expressions of the paparazzi, was a scene so absurdly delightful it could only belong to them. As Alexander withdrew back into the car, he turned to Isabella with a triumphant smirk. "There, maybe now they'll leave us alone, having been elevated to such esteemed ranks." The paparazzi, unsure of whether they'd been honored or mocked, could only watch in stunned silence as the car pulled away, leaving them in the dust. Some chuckled, shaking their heads in disbelief, while others simply shrugged and went back to their cameras, their day made undeniably more interesting by the prince's antics. Isabella, wiping tears of laughter from her eyes, looked at Alexander with renewed affection. "Only you could turn a car chase into a knighting ceremony. I swear, you're going to give your father a run for his money." The tension in the car shifted, the anger giving way to a reluctant amusement at the ludicrousness of their argument. Isabella, catching her breath from the heated exchange, finally cracked a smile, the absurdity of their situation dawning on her. "This is ridiculous, isn't it? We're arguing about magic wands and royal waves while being chased through New York." Alexander, relieved to see the fire in Isabella's eyes, replaced with a spark of humor, grinned. "Utterly ridiculous. But it's us, isn't it? Even in the midst of chaos, we find a way to make it uniquely ours." Their laughter mingled, a much-needed release from the tension that had built up, as the car finally outmaneuvered the paparazzi, leaving the chaos behind. Alexander and Isabella found themselves leaning into the comfort of their shared absurdity. "Maybe we do need a break from all this excitement," Isabella mused, her earlier fury replaced with a sense of clarity. "We should go visit your parents in Europe. A bit of royal serenity might be just what we need." As they shared a quiet moment, the insanity of their day fading into the background, Alexander and Isabella realized that their strength lay not in the titles they held, but in their ability to face the world together, no matter how absurd it became. "Alexander, I'm sorry," she began, her voice softening. "I was scared, and I took it out on you. You're not a loser, you're my prince, and you've always been there for me, even when things get a little crazy." Alexander looked into her eyes, seeing the sincerity and love within them. "Isabella, I know you were scared. I was too. But we're in this together, no matter what. I just wish I could have protected you better." Isabella took his hand, squeezing it gently. "You do protect me in more ways than you know. And you're right. We are in this together."
Romance Weekly is a Calaroga Shark Media production, written and hosted by AI McIntyre, produced by Mark Francis. Executive producers Mark Francis and John McDermott.
Calaroga Shark Media.